G'day everyone, Jason here again to talk to you about the process I use for songwriting and music production. In the previous videos I created chord progressions using my guitar, and then after playing a number of guitars decided on using the piano in fact as the instrument that will play those chords in the song. I also created a very simple drum loop to be part of a drum track, but of course I can't use that same loop throughout the whole song. That would sound very boring, so I need to start thinking about creating some variation in drums. So the next step for me is to start thinking about the overall structure of the song and how I want to structure the chorus and verse, think about the drums and break them up into a number of different patterns and using fills. The other thing I want to do is to start thinking about a melody or a hook using another instrument that can sit on top of those chords to create some variation and another layer of sound throughout the song. So let's get into it. Okay, so first we have the drums that sounds like this. And we have the piano that sounds like this. And this is a 4-bar pattern. So for the first verse, you can see I've got this dark blue bar at the top here. I'm going to create a verse that is 16 bars long. So I need to play this first chord sequence here 4 times. So you see the pattern A is duplicated out 4 times. And I have the drum track just playing across that whole verse. Following the verse, I want to have a pre-chorus, and I want that to be 8 bars long, and that's going to comprise the other chord sequence that I came up with, which I've called pattern B and pattern C. And pattern C is identical to pattern B. I just deleted the last chords to create some space as I get into the main chorus, and that chorus is going to comprise of pattern A again. And the final part of the chorus, I'm going to take off the final chord as well to create some space. So now I've got this structure of verse, pre-chorus, and chorus part A and chorus part B using those chords that I've created. The problem is that the drums are going to sound very boring all the way through playing that same pattern. Let's look at that drum pattern again. So you can see from the detail below, we've got a lot of different sounds in that drum pattern. It goes like this. So the first thing I want to do is break each of these sounds into individual tracks so I can start to create different patterns based on that. So this is what it looks like when I take that one pattern here and break it out into its logical components that comprise of the kick and snare and clap and crash and everything else. Now what this enables me to do is go and create versions of it, as you can see before and after, which now have some of the elements of the kit added and some removed to create those variations in rhythm that I want throughout the song. So if we go back to the very beginning now, in the beginning of the verse, I now have the clap playing, and then over here I've got the kick coming in, and then I'll get into the main beat, and then we go over to the pre-chorus and a different pattern altogether. More of a 4 on the floor type of beat with the kick. And so that's how I want to structure the song in terms of verse and pre-chorus and chorus, and using different patterns of the drums to create those variations. And it's important also in some areas, say just before a chorus or at the end of a verse, something like that, you want to strip out some of the drums to create some space. So we end up with this, like that. So we end up with some space and some fills. So there we have it. Now we have the main structure for the verse, pre-chorus and chorus, for the drums and for the piano chords, and I'll be able to duplicate that out for the rest of the song to create the overall structure. And I'm going to add some variations in there too with the drums, just to create some more interest. Alright, this is what it looks like when we have it all laid out. I've got my introduction, verse 1 over here, verse 2, and following the verses I've got a pre-chorus and a chorus A and B after both of those verses. Now on the second verse, I have what I call a refrain, which is really just a repeat of this chorus B section as I go into a bridge. And a bridge is just a nice way to break up the song and build into a final chorus and a refrain at the end. And the refrain is essentially just another repeat of the chorus. And that will provide me with the main structure from which I can go and create some of these other instrument layers. Just to give you an idea of what the bridge sounds like, there's really not much happening in the way of percussion here. I'm creating some space for other instruments to come in, and it builds up back into the chorus. So I'll start with this, I'll iterate on it, I'm sure. Now it's time to start thinking about adding another instrument layer for the melody and hooks.